Hello. Hi everyone. Welcome to this new Alexa Developers EU Office Hour session. My name is Gaetano. I'm a developer advocate here at the Amazon Alexa team. And in this session, we will be asking you questions when it comes to Alexa Skills Kit or skill development in general. Please, if you can provide feedback on the video, audio, let me know if everything is fine. That would be very well appreciated. So we will have a guest in this session, which is Xavi. He's an Alexa champion, and he's been on this session before. We will be covering a feature that we launched not so long ago called Alexa Entities that lets you basically access and use information from the Alexa knowledge graph from within your Alexa skill. So I'm gonna add Xavi to the session so he can introduce himself and we can get right into it. Hello. Hi, Xavi.
Hello, Gaetano. Thank you for bringing me the opportunity to have here to being here again. It's a pleasure to share the Alexa, my Alexa experience and my Alexa projects with the audience.
Thank you.
So yeah.
We already have some person saying hello into the chat. Hi there, Hawk2000. Welcome back. Topster says sound video is good. Thank you for confirming. So as I was saying today with Xavi, we're gonna be we're gonna have a walkthrough for the Alexa entities feature, and the session will last roughly 45 minutes, I'd say. And of course, we will leave a chunk of time by the end of the session for questions you might have. If you have a critic question, let's say, throughout the session, please feel free to add it to the chat so that we can address it before continuing. That said, Xavi, let me know if you want me to put your screen on the video feed.
Yeah, yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
thank you.
So yeah, uh, you want we can start with the full explanation and the example.
Yes, please. So Xavi also brought an article that I'm going to link into the chat if anyone is interested. But yeah, we can start off, Xavi.
Okay, perfect. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself a little bit more. As you said, I am an Alexa champion and I am part of the Alexa Spanish community. So, if some of the audience are like Spanish or speak Spanish, please ping me at my handle at Xavidob in on Twitter or even on the GitHub, YouTube, any channel, and we can talk about the Spanish community, and also I can share with you the link to join our Discord because we have a Discord with near 200 people and a Twitter at Comunidad Alexa with 400 people. So yeah, and also I'm working at VoiceFlow as a infrastructure engineer. Uh, VoiceFlow is a company that you can that you can build Alexa skills as well with no code. It's a no code platform. So yeah, we can do in future sessions a demo about VoiceFlow. In today's session, we are going to talk about the Alexa entities. As Gaetano said, the Alexa entities is one new functionality that Alexa launched. Well, it's not really new. I mean, that was announced on the Alexa Live 2020 on July, and yeah, it's to fetch information of the Alexa knowledge graph. And after the Alexa Live 2021, this July, This feature was released for Spanish, ES, French, German, and Italian. Not only English, and also now is generally available, because before that it was in preview. So now it's generally available. So before starting explaining the Alexa entities itself, I think it is worth to explaining the what is a knowledge graph, because most of the of the things that we are going to touch in this session are related to a knowledge graph. So let me scroll down a little bit to put this picture. So the a knowledge graph is just a graph where you can access like any node of that graph is a is has or contains some data. And for instance, let's say like in this example, we can start at Lily node and imagine that we are going or we want to retrieve information about Lily. In this knowledge graph, we can see like Lily is interested in Da Vinci, for example, is friend of James and is a person. So what we can do in the Alexa knowledge, well, in a knowledge graph, is when we fetch information about Lily, instead of getting the full information of the graph, what we are going to do is just moving for all over the graph to fetch the information that we want. Imagine that you are building an Alexa skill and you are like, for instance, you are going to build a skill to fetch information about some actors, which is the example that we are going to do today. Imagine that you request, instead of Lily, information about Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt was born in let's say, I don't know where he born, but let's say Oklahoma. In the When we fetch information of the knowledge graph, or the Alexa knowledge graph in this case, what we are getting what we are going to receive is simple information. Let's say like in terms of data, we are going to have like the birth date, the birthplace, the name, the occupation. And if we want to, we can share that to our user, to our Alexa skill user. But if we want to get more information about, for instance, the birthplace, what we are going to do is another call to the Alexa knowledge graph to get the information of that place, of that city, for instance, let's say Oklahoma. So and then when we get the information of Oklahoma, if we want to get more information about some specific of the place of the city, we can move again to the within the knowledge graph or through the knowledge graph. So that is the basically what is a knowledge graph. Alexa has its own knowledge graph, and this is the one that uses the Alexa entities. So so yeah.
Thank you. That's a very clear explanation.
Yeah. So in terms of Alexa, what we are going to do is or what we want to do to have the Alexa entities in place in our Alexa skill, we want to do two changes. The first thing is our interaction model, our voice user interface, and then the code itself, our AWS Lambda code. So let's get started with the interaction model. But before that, let me explain the Alexa entities itself and how it works. Okay, so imagine that right now. Let's get started with the example of getting information about some actors. How can we work with Alexa entities within our Alexa skill? So What we are going to use and what on how Alexa entities work is that every not every but almost all the Amazon built-in slots will be linked to or potentially linked to an Alexa entity class. Let me put the documentation here. That depends on uh, on the locale. Okay, so maybe here in the English US, for instance, let's say like the Amazon.actor, which is the one that we are going to use, has can be or potentially mapped as a entertainment actor and as a person entity class. And if we go, for instance, to the Spanish one, we will see that we have uh, less built-in slots with possible entity classes. So make sure that you have for your use case and also for all your locales that you have your Alexa skills, that the built-in slot that you want to use is available in all the locales and has its possible entity classes. So in terms of the our Alexa skill and in terms of our interaction model, what we have to add is just basically in our interaction model the slot that we want to use. In this case, will be the Amazon.actor. In the Amazon.actor, when we get the information, we will go over the code in 10 minutes more or less. But when we see the code, we will see that we are getting some information, and that information will be the Alexa entity itself, and that Alexa entity will has some properties. That properties depends on the slot type, because when we use the Amazon book built-in slot, it will have a possible entity class called book, and the book will have its properties. Let me open this. And if the Amazon actor, it will have its sound properties as well. It will be it will inherit properties from the entertainment actor entity and also from the person entity. If we click here, we can see the properties that we are going to receive. Okay, so this is the for instance, for the actor, we are going to get the birth date, birthplace, child, death date, death place, name, occupation, and also the entertainment actor, which is a cast member of, the name as an actor, and the total number of awards. Here, this is super important. Each property has its sound type. So the type could be a simple type, like for instance, here is just a date time, or a string, or for the total number of hours is just an integer. But for example, for the birthplace or for the death place, that is a place. Or for the child, is an array of all the children of the our actor, and that array will contain people. Okay, and these types will have its sound properties. So with that, we are going to move through the Alexa knowledge graph. Okay. So
We have a question in the chat. So can you get back to the local availability? Because we have
yeah, so
Fabio William Oliveira asking if it's available in Brazil, but I don't see it. So for PTBR is not yet available, right?
it's not yet. I hope like it will be available. I don't know the how the Alexa entity is. I mean, the current status, but that means, I mean, in terms of, because there are some features. in the Alexa itself that requires like prepare the artificial intelligence that are behind some features, but in this case what is required is the knowledge graph itself. So I don't know if that knowledge graph is prepared yet for Brazilian or for Portuguese.
So yeah, currently it is not, but please make sure to have a look at our blogs because if there is an update, we will definitely post it there. I'm pasting the link in the chat for you, Fabio. Thanks for the
Yeah.
question, though. Sorry, you can go on.
Yeah. So um how in it's important to notice, I mean, how are we going to get this information in our Alexa skill? Because in terms of interaction model, what we are going to do is just add an Amazon built-in slot, and we have to make sure that that slot has a possible entity class, right? But in terms of the request that we are going to receive in our AWS Lambda, how we are going to know that the slot has been matched and that slot has the Alexa entity information. Okay, so this is when enters like the entity resolution, the slot resolution, let's say. In Alexa, when a slot is matched, there are some authorities that can, like, let's say, like authorize or that can match an slot. Okay. For example, simple, when you create a custom slot, let's say, like I don't know, uh, a simple example I always use, a Pokemon. You have a custom slot about Pokemons. When you use that a custom slot, the when the that slot is matched, um, you will see that the authority will be like the usual one that Alexa uses. When you use dynamic entities, which is when you fill a slot with types, but you fill that slot programmatically within your code, the authority will be another one. And when your I mean, the authority will be another one with the slot is match. And when the slot is match and there is a match with an Alexa entities, that means that the built-in slot exists and also there is a entity that is resolved to that specific request, that there will be an Alexa entity authority that will give you that information. We will see that in the AWS Lambda code to make sure like the everything is clear, because the Alexa entity, well, the built-in, the slot resolution is something that is more advanced. It's not like pure basic Alexa skill development. But yeah, it is important to know before we moving forward. So having those explanations done, let's get started with the code. I mean, with the project. So let's go to our Alexa skill. I created, as I explained before, we're going to create a simple project that will it's like a FAQ skill that we are going to like request some data, some information about the about some actors, and the skill will return some information about the actor that we request using the Alexa entities and the Alexa knowledge graph. So For that, I created one intent called entity intent with 4 utterances. Those 4 utterances will be just like something like tell me more about actor, who is actor itself, and tell me about actor. The actor is an slot, and that slot is from the slot type amazon.actor. Okay, so if we go to the Alexa entities documentation, we will see that the Amazon actor, it has possible entity classes that can be mapped. In this case, will be entertainment actor and person. Okay, so it should be nice. We should, when the slot is matched, we will have that entity or that slot resolution from the Alexa entities authority, and we will get that information. So this is only for the interaction model. So yeah, the in terms of interaction model is not too complex. This is just a basic example. We don't need anything else. So let's go to the AWS Lambda code, because we will need to do more things.
Okay, let me know in the chat if the font is big enough. Looks fine for me, but let me know. Yeah, I guess we can go on and then adjust it later if required.
Okay, perfect. There we go. So we will need to install to work with Alexa entities. We will need to install at least one npm package, which is Axios, the latest version. Always you should use the latest version in case that there are like some security issue. Make sure that you are working with the latest Axios npm package version. So Axios is the most used npm package to do HTTP request, to make HTTP request in Node.js, in JavaScript. So we are going to use this library. I also added the local debugging, which is something that we explained in our last live, Gaetano.
Yep.
So in case that you want to, I'm not going to explain the local debugging, but in case that you want the local debugging, you can check our last live that was like a month ago. It's
Yes, it is recorded in the, so you can find it on either on the Twitch or YouTube channels. So
yeah, exactly. So we are going to
let me
use
find it.
the local debugging to debug the all the Alexa requests and to go through all the Alexa entities information. So having the Axios installed and the local debugging in case that you want it, what we need is to build the handler for the entity intent that I created. Remember that we said that as a we put the entity intent name here, so we will need a handler for that handler, for that intent. Sorry. So I create that handler called entity intent handler. So we make sure that this handler will be triggered when we have an intent request and the intent that is requested is an entity intent. Okay, is the one that we want. So um, for the just going through the code, what we are going to fetch within the request are some different things. The first one is where the basic one is to get the slot itself. Okay, so from the when we get the when we receive the request, we will need to get the slot. Remember that the slot that we are going to find is the actor one, which is the one that we have in our interaction model. Is this one. So this is why I put here actor. The first parameter is the request envelope. This is an object that is between the input that we receive from Alexa. The other important thing that we need to make a request to the Alexa knowledge graph is an API access token. The API access token is is the token that we have already in our request, and that allow us to make the request to some endpoint in the Alexa knowledge graph, just to make sure that uh, we are doing we are making a request using a token in terms of security, and no one can access there.
I just want to add a little thing. So do not confuse the API access token with the actual access token for the account linking, for example. They are
Yeah,
two different things. This is just purely to access features like the Alexa knowledge graph. So it's not the token for the account linking process.
exactly. And also it's not the token that you get in your Alexa, in your Alexa that you have on your laptop, for example. It's something temporary that it came from the request, right?
Yes, you can use it for the also progressive response API, for example. Just so different APIs that we provide, but not to identify a customer. That's another kind of token.
Exactly. So yeah, having that, what we are going to do is get the slot resolutions. Okay, we are going to check that all the slots have the, I mean the slot, sorry, the actor one has been resolved as an Alexa entities. Okay, this function will go through the all authorities that I explained when I will put the cursor here. When an entity is well, when a slot is matched and the authority that matches that slot is the Alexa entities, you will see like that we are going to have some information. We are going to have some Alexa entities information. Let me close Slack. So in the slot, where are that information? That will be in the slot dot resolution subject, and the resolution subject we're going to check for the authority. This is where when I explain that we can have more than one authority, uh, this is where we are going to find that authorities. So we are going to call the find function, which is a matcher, and that matcher it will check like from all the authorities an authority that is equals to the Alexa entities, and the status code is success match. So let's say I will play with it, and then through the we're going to go step by step to see how the Alexa entities works, at least until this point. Then we are going to follow the breakpoint itself and the full trace. Let me check the invocation name. So
Are you launching the skill locally?
yeah,
Okay. I pasted the session that we had last month on how to set this up. So what we're going to do now is launch the skill from within VS Code and see the output directly in the console, right?
Yeah,
Okay. If you're curious to know how to set this up, I've checked the chat. I've pasted the session that we had.
yeah. So we are going to use the simulator here in the Visual Studio Code, just installing the Alexa extension. So if we open the Alexa skill, the invocation name is entities demo. You will see that all the requests are going through my laptop. There you go. Here, all the requests are going through my laptop. The simulator is working. There we go. Welcome. You can ask for any actor or request help. Which would you like to try? Let's say Brad Pitt, okay? This is the example that we are following. Okay, so if we go through the code that I explained, should be like we are going to have the first where we want to get the slot, which is the actor. So we have the actor here, then the API access token. These functions are built-in functions available on the Alexa SDK, so you can just import in your package and use them like this, the SDK core and the SDK model. So being here, if we take a look at the actor, okay, the actor slot, we will see like the the value is Brad Pitt. This is what we have typed, and we will see the slot value, which is type simple value Brad Pitt. But then here we have the resolutions, and we have one authority. Let's click here, and the authority that we have is the Alexa entities. The status of the Alexa entities is a success match. That means that within the Alexa knowledge graph, we have one node for the actor that we are requesting. And then in the values, we have not only one, we have 3 nodes in the Alexa knowledge graph that can be the actor that I'm requesting. For instance, we have Brad Pitt, Clarence Acuna, and Luke Kenny. Maybe they have some relationship with Brad Pitt. I don't know, but yeah, we have the most important one is the Brad Pitt, and notice here that we have the success match, and we have an ID. That ID is a URL. Okay, that URL is the node itself in the Alexa knowledge graph. This is where we are going to make the request using Axios. Okay, so if we move forward through the code, here down resolutions, we have the authority Alexa entities. This is the same that we have here. All the resolutions. So we have the Alexa entities, the status code, and then the values. So we have something resolved to an Alexa entities. In this case, the next lines of the code, what we are going to do is we are going to make the get HTTP request. So that HTTP request will fetch information from the Alexa knowledge graph, but we need to set up that request. To set up that request, we need first the entity URL, which is this URL. Okay, here is the one that we are resolutions.values the 0 dot value dot id, which is resol
So
the
the first value of the values array, I guess.
yeah, exactly, from the values, the first one dot value dot id. Okay, and this is the url. Okay, then we need to set up two headers, super important. The first one is the authorization one. There we're going to use the API access token that we have on our request. Okay, this is just calling this function and put in the request envelope. It will give you the access token, the API access token, and then the language. Okay, because right now the Alexa entities are available in multiple languages, so you need to specify the specific locale that your request is from your user. Okay, so this one we are going to use English US, and just calling this function, which is also available in the Alexa SDK, get locale, and passing again the request envelope. It will give you um, NUS. I think that you can try this as well here in the console. There we go. You have the NUS, okay, here. So this is what we need to access to the Alexa knowledge graph, okay? Let's make the request. Remember that we have the resolution. This is the URL, this one, which is this one, exactly the same. And then the header subject, which is this one. There we go. The bidder with the token, and then the accept language. Okay, so let's make the request. If that works. Maybe the token is expired because I was explaining all of these things. Let me check that. Yeah, let me restart because the token from the request expires. So it is super normal that that token doesn't work again because expire. So this is for security reasons. So let's start again the simulator and and let's do the example quickly. There we go. Brad Pitt. Okay. So there we go. Resolutions, entity, headers. There we have here. Okay. The response object. Let's go through this tab. Here is the response object from the Axios. The most important thing that we need to check here is the status, which is the 200, and then the data. Okay, in the data we will have the information from the Alexa knowledge graph. Here is if you remember, and if we go through the documentation, we will see that an actor will have information. Let me close these tabs and open again. Sorry. Let me close this. There we go. And open again. So as I explained, an actor can be or will be inherited from the types entertainment actor with these properties and from person with these properties. Okay. So if we debug what we have in the data, we will have the birth date, birthplace, child, death place, entertainment cast member of, the name, occupation, total number of awards, and also it has been inherited from entertainment musician because Brad Pitt maybe it has one song. There you have. It has one song. Causen Firehook by Brad Pitt. Well, it will be, it is inherit, or it has properties as well from the entertainment musician. So first, on the at type property, you will see like the types that this Alexa entity has: person, in this case person, musician, and actor. So that means that you will find properties from these entity classes. Okay, if we go, for example, to the birth date, as I told you, there are types that are simple. I mean that in the directly in the request you will have the value itself, and then there are complex types, which is, for example, the birthplace. The birthplace, you will see that it has its own type, which is a city. You will see the name in case that you want to show the name to the user, and if you don't want to get the information to request, I mean, to only to get the name of the city, just to request the in the Alexa knowledge graph to that node to get the information, it gives you the name. But if you want more information about Shawnee, Oklahoma, here you have the ID of the node in the Alexa knowledge graph about Shawnee, Oklahoma. For the child node, here you have all the children from Brad Pitt. He has 6 children, and you see here like each children has its own node in the Alexa knowledge graph. It tells you the type, which is person, and then again the name, in just in case that you don't want to access only the node to get the name, you have the name itself. The death place, same again. Well, Los Angeles, but I think Brad Pitt is alive. Then the name, cast member of, which is in what is working on. It has movies, movie, movie as well, and movie as well. If you click, you will see the all the movies that he's working on. Um, I tested yesterday with an Spanish artist, and instead of movies, we saw like movies, TV series, with different types in the cast member of object. Then the occupation. Here's exactly the same type: occupation, actor, and film actor. And the awards, which is 120.
I have a question, Xavi. So is it possible to so once you get this response to do another HTTP request to another ID that came from the response with the same token? I mean, let's say that from Brad Pitt, I get the list of movies. If I want to get info about that particular node of the movie and get maybe the who's the director and other information about that particular node, is it possible to do it with the same token in the same intent handler, or I need to do another?
That is a great question. I didn't test that, but maybe I think so that you can do that. I think so.
Because I'm starting to, so maybe I'm thinking about what a nice use case of this would be. I'm thinking about, for example, a quiz game. So that based on the information you get from the graph, you can generate different possible answers, and then you actually check if the answer is correct by doing another call to the graph. Giving the possibility to developer to build games or any other cool use case out of this.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, in terms like uh, when you have the token, like, I mean, if that token does not expire, I think that you are able to access to the knowledge graph in the request itself. So you can access. once, twice, and the number that you want. Think so,
Okay.
but I didn't try it.
hmm Is there any use case that come to mind for this feature?
Well, the just like discoverability of like about information, like when you build um some Alexa skills about like to learn something. In this case, for actors or for uh, maybe movies or books or something, you can like build an entire skill. Just I mean, like starting with the actor, and then you can move through the graph, and the user can ask about the starting for the book or for the author or for the movie.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Going and through the graph and asking about the city, about the birthplace, about the children, like some like a Wikipedia, something like that.
hmm Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it's very easy to move yourself through the graph with all these IDs and the token that is available from the JSON request. So yeah, thank you.
Exactly, exactly. And yeah, just to finishing the example, when you get the information, the only thing that you need is to prepare the data to show to the user. So if we move through the code, we are going to prepare a string that is what Alexa will say here, which is Brad Pitt was born in Shawnee, Oklahoma in 1963 and has 6 children. Now he's working as an actor and has won 120 awards. So yeah, that kind of simple information is just getting from the Alexa knowledge graph, like everything in house, you know.
Yes, that's cool that you don't need any external services, and this is completely integrated into the Alexa Skills Kit. So there are a few comments in the chat that I like to address, unless there is anything else you want to add to wrap this up,
No,
Xavi.
that's it.
Okay, thank you for putting all this together. Very well appreciated. So Tyler Haney says interesting. So thank you. I'm glad you like this. So this session, of course, will be recorded as the one that we did last month. So it will be available on our Twitch channel and YouTube as well. Moving to the next comment. So Fabio William Oliveira is asking, could you share these projects on GitHub? Do you have any plans on
Yeah,
doing that, or
yeah,
you already done it?
it's already available. Let me put that
Okay, if
in the
you
chat.
share the link, I'll forward it to the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you. Meanwhile, Fabio again is asking, does the developers need any special authorization to use entities? So from what I've seen, this is a public beta. Most of the entities are in public beta, meaning that they might, so the information inside the graph might change, but you can use it. So is that correct, Xavi?
Yeah, this is right now general available, so it doesn't request anything extra from the developer side, or just like request something to preview or something. This is available for all the devs.
Okay, thank you. So meanwhile, I'm gonna paste this. So the whole project is available on GitHub. So thank you, Shai, for preparing this. So yeah, we have 7-ish minutes left. There is another comment which is about APL. So it's something else. It's not related to the entities. Let's see.
Okay.
Um, I can touch on that. How can I send APL send events command on a recurring basis? I'm using it to update screen info while a video plays. I tried handle tick. I read that send event is compatible in fast mode. Then there's a link that I cannot click. Tick commands always run in fast mode. That's correct. So send events are definitely ignored in fast mode. So what you could do is using a sequencer that basically lets you. It's kind of running this command outside of the. To make an analogy, outside of the main thread, so it's not blocking. I would like to expand on that. So if you can maybe reach out to me via the contact us page. So let me hover the link here. If you go on alexa.design, contact us, and yeah, you share the skill ID, the APL document that you are building, and ask the question there so I can have a deeper look, so that I can see your skill ID and try to give you the best answer possible. Yeah, so that's our main channel to contact us. So please do not hesitate doing that. You can mention that you asked this question in the chat and got forwarded there. Okay, we have 5 minutes left. So I pasted the project that Xavi was able to build. There is also a blog post, right?
Yeah.
Can you share this as well? So I'll post it here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so if you're curious to have this knowledge refreshed in a written format, please check the blog post that Xavi was able to build as well. Thank you again. So it's been a pleasure having you. So if you have additional questions on what we have presented today, again, please feel free to add comments to the video that will appear on Twitch or on YouTube, and we might address all the questions there. So Hawk 2000 says thanks. Yeah, again, it's been a pleasure. I hope you find it useful. For sure, we will have Xavi again in our next sessions in the future. And thank you, everyone. I wish everyone a good day and enjoy this Black Friday. We have a lot of deals coming up.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything else, Xavi?
No, that's it. Thank you for again for giving me the opportunity to be in here today, and yeah, I hope that we will have more sessions like this one in the future.
Sure. Thank you very much, and see you in the next session, which will happen in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.